Hello, welcome to conference. It's a cold, cloudy winter day here in California, and we're all snuggled up here in the Wellness Center. We're on chapter 2 of The Wise Heart by Jack Kornfield, and this semester we're beginning with the metta meditation again this year and committing to a whole another year of practicing love and compassion. So I'd like to start this out with a story that is the beginning of this chapter by Alan Wallace, who is a very well-known Tibetan Buddhist teacher and writer. And I'll tell this my version. Every teacher kind of has their way of telling a story, and you got to make it your own. So the story goes like this. I just finished grocery shopping, and I'm going from my car to the house on the sidewalk, and I have a bag here and a bag here, and typical Diana, that I'm like, oh, I can grab one more bag with this finger and throw on those flowers there, and oh yeah, strap around my usual bag that I carry every day, and I'm walking down the sidewalk, and I'm almost to the house, barely got this one, and then someone walking down the sidewalk just slams into me, knocks me off my feet, and I'm on the sidewalk with my eggs broken all over the place and my flowers all over, and I'm in some of the eggs, and my first reaction is, because the person that's hit me is also on the sidewalk in my eggs, and they've fallen as well, and my first reaction is, you idiot, you look where you're going, and what's wrong with you? And as I go to yell at that person, fumbling to get up as well, I realize that they're blind. So my reaction changes immediately. My heart changes immediately from you idiot to, oh my gosh, are you okay? Can I help you? Brush off the eggs from them. And my response goes from anger to kindness. So this week we're studying compassion. This is a story of compassion, and I love this story because it's a universal story that if we think through, we could apply to all the moments of our life. And I remember this one story, and I wound up using it as a practice for many years when I was driving behind someone, and I'll be honest, I was judging the car they were driving as well. I was being judgy anyway, but then they threw their cigarette out of the car and onto the street. And I was really judgy then. And thinking in my head, like, should I drive up to them? And, of course I wouldn't. But then just a little bit further, I was behind them. There was someone's car that was stalled in the middle of a California major street. And this person stopped their truck and got out to help this person. And immediately, it had the same reaction that Alan Wallace's story talks. I was like, oh, Di, see? This person was so kind that they stopped to help another person. And I immediately thought, what if that was your mother? What if your mother had her car broken in the middle of the street and she was afraid and didn't know what to do? And that man that you judged was kind enough to help your mother. So I started using that story in my own head to say, think of the person that you don't understand or whatever as being the person that stopped on the street to help your mother. And it really was a great little practice for me. It wound up helping myself when I got sort of judgy in my head and was critical of people to switch it to compassion. And it is, what I want to say to all of you, I've been thinking about for myself, is that we're practicing love and compassion right now. And we've been talking about, for the last couple years, about the greatest gift on the planet is love, and how it's the greatest thing that we can cultivate ourselves and also share with others. And I feel like compassion is part of love, and yet it's its own thing that I feel like grows out of love. And like everything, I feel like we need to practice being better lovers of life and people. I feel like we need to practice compassion. And how important it is when we start to see ourselves doing the metta meditation, which is a practice of compassion. That last part of it, so we first are compassionate and loving towards ourselves, which we all need. But then we're compassionate and loving to the people that we adore and love, which is kind of easy, right? Most days. But then when we do that third tier where we bring in people that are challenging for us or that we don't understand or we feel very different from, it's practicing compassion. And I feel like for myself, having done this a year and moving into the second year of it, it's a game changer when you commit to every day doing that, because you find yourself in these little situations where you might normally been really hurt by someone and angry at them and held it for a while, or when you found someone that just seemed like really doing something you didn't agree with or whatever, that we can switch that to this place of feeling compassion for them is incredibly powerful and changes not only your own heart and your own energy, because that's how it shifts like love. It just shifts your own energy around something and it feels so liberating, so free. But also sometimes you realize it starts to change your energy with that person, you know, or with your relationship with the world. It starts to change that bigger energy. It has that power. And so I was thinking about, again, that quote that we used by Viktor Frankl about the greatest gift really that a man has is that one freedom, is to choose your own way. And I love thinking of that word freedom and liberation, that it liberates us, it frees us when we can make these choices rather than being angry to be compassionate, rather than being judgmental to be compassionate. So the quote I chose for this week is from a book that was a gift. Someone gifted this to me. Chef Kathy gifted this to me a week ago, and it's become one of my favorite books. And it's by an illustrator named Charlie Mackesy, Mackesy. And the illustrations in the book are absolutely fabulous, but the writing is very simple, and you will love it as well. There are 4 characters in the book, which is the title of the book. There's the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. And there are only 11 words in this quote, and I love it so much because it's simple and it's something that we can hold in our minds and practice in our lives. The quote is, "One of the greatest freedoms is how we react to things." And that is truly the greatest freedom, and we can choose to react in anything in our lives with compassion. So I honor all of you for doing this practice of yoga, but also doing this practice of living at a higher consciousness. And I welcome all of you to use this quote this week as a mantra and just see how much we can really apply that to the little moments of our life. Namaste.